What's going on, guys? Kaiger here. Today's video, Flower Fairies Season 2, right around the corner. I'm going to walk you through everything we know about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so some interesting things. Some were in the files before Season 1 even started. If you're unfamiliar, the last major new fairy, Tranquil Bloomflower, was S1, Season 1. And if you remember, we had to rank her up, get her stars up, as well as level her up to 400 to get some points, as well as guild boss every single day during the 2-week period was weak to wind because she was wind, as well as you tag her to another fairy of the same type, generally for most players probably Camellia because that was probably your strongest, as well as other events to use the new fairy in to get some points and get the outfit, right? Now, I already showed you guys in the weekly events video before, but the new fairy, Orchid, Butterfly Orchid, has a outfit in the SEA Southeast Asia version. No way to get it yet. That's probably going to be tied to Season 2, but at the same time that Tranquil Bloomflower was added into the files, so was Butterfly Orchid, which I already talked about her a little bit when that happened. 2 new fairies, remember? So I did that video, and at the same time, this S2 right here was in there. And that's because her whole thing is she's a butterfly, right? That you have the literal butterfly next to the S. And I like that they're going a little bit more lore focused on this, right? Because in game right now on global, you have the butterfly orchid right here, as well as the other 3 that we've done, as well as right here, and then up here where you can't really see, there's the 2 that say stay tuned. This is the general fairy symbol, as you see right here, behind her, all the same. I like this new system, the rumors, but I also don't. I like getting to know a little bit more about the fairies, having a little quest to do for them. Feels like you're earning the resources, but what it gives to you is effectively nothing, right? So you have to get her to it says 5-star, but it means 5 yellow star, which is 10-star, which means you have to have at least 6 copies. I'm not doing the numbers right now, but at least 6 to get there, and it gives you 1 summon and as a reward for doing all the things as well as that. Not really worth it. Whereas before it was if you summon 1 copy of this fairy, you can do the chain missions and then get the first encounters and get a 10x summon. So if this was even having to get it to 10 yellow stars, yeah, at least give us our 10x back. Come on. Now, what's interesting, just to show you real quick, what I like about it is some of the anecdotes. There's some interesting story here. So she's saying her birth was the ridiculous product of jealousy, and the mission is to level up Lavender to 5 stars. So you have to level up Lavender and level up her with stars so at least 6 copies of each to get 1 summon in return. But I like the story aspect here. There's some jealousy happening between someone, her parents, I don't know, and either Lavender is her father or her brother. I'm not really sure here, but there's definitely going to be some interesting story here. We also have 10.1 patch notes for global new Flower Fairies season events, which that is on Tuesday normal time. Wednesday the 2nd is probably going to be when this goes live. She has obviously been in the Adventure Manual for a while now, but also this past week, 10 is on the global server now as well. It's 200% more damage per passive and 4% more protection rate. Now, you need to rank her up. My issue, before we talk about her herself, let's talk about the issue with Season 2. And the issue is going to be, with an elemental fairy, it makes more sense. Because you get points for the guild boss being weak to that, right? So, does that mean during these 2 weeks with Butterfly Orchid that the boss is going to be weak to Holy? That's going to be awkward. It's never weak to Holy. It was weak to Wind the whole 2 weeks during Season 1. That's going to be awkward for a bunch of people, as well as Elemental Fairies are easier to rank up than Holy Fairies. You only need, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you need far less of the fairy to go all the way up, versus Holy, that its copies needs SSR base 6-star fairies. This would be palatable if we had a 4-star Holy Fairy that we can get from the regular banner, right? So if they add, each one has 2, even if it's just 1 SR Holy Fairy, that would free up a lot of things, right? It would suck for some spenders that already have Rainbow 3 everything, but I mean, Holy's been out for how long? Even the massive Holy Echo 5 Plus has been out for how long? The main thing with spending in these games is usually to get an advantage early. Now it's been long enough that we should open up the reins, and then probably sometime next year introduce a new element. I know some people say they can't do a dark fairy because in the lore there is no dark fairies. There's just those dark humans that possess the fairies. So you can do it that way, or you can do like an Attack on Titan style thing, right? Where that's an anime, obviously, but you can do it where, okay, this is the preconceived notions of this area, but as we escape the area, we learn more. So maybe we learn about new elements, right? We learned about lightning fairies, something I heard thrown around a bunch. Even we could have dark fairies if we leave the area that we're in, the Sephilia and all these areas, and then we progress to the rest of the world, Vinland Saga style or Attack on Titan style, and there's more beyond what we know. So that would make sense to me. You can say, hey, it doesn't make sense to the story, but you can also just say the story's not finished yet, right? You can keep going with the story. Now, about her herself, her basic doesn't do anything. Her passive, when your current class Butterfly Orchid, her normal attacks have 5%, which scales to 40% as you max it. Huge jumps, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. So 40% chance to release additional butterflies, dealing 70% additional damage once, and heals you for that every 10 seconds. So we've been having a good amount of supportive Holy Fairies, which is nice. This works with Hibiscus, which is cool. Them on the same active thing would be very powerful. And then her actual skill, geez, we need 4 screenshots. Transforms into a butterfly, consuming 5% of your current HP, so not your max, but your current HP, and gives you a shield for 3% of your max, plus 6% of current. So you lose 5% current, get 6% current, so you're up HP, as well as 3% max, and this is a shield. Now you have to be careful here, because shields don't stack. It's whatever the newest one is. So if you put a shield on yourself from some other means, that would override this and you would lose it. So you got to be careful. I wouldn't, for example, put her on the same thing as Priest. For 12 seconds, deals damage around you, 2.5% of your current HP. So she's even better with Hibiscus, because Hibiscus will heal you, so your current HP will be higher, which means that damage would be higher. And then at 2, it gets additional effect. Usually it's 5 and 8, but hers is 2, 5, and 8. I think I use it over here. Damage increased. The percentage is the same. And this is a big difference between her base form and this form, because when you hit enemies around you, makes them unable to move for 2 seconds. But it pulsates around you, so every time you do that, they can't move, and reduces their attack by 10% for 6 seconds. This is effectively, think of it as a turret from mech, right? Without giving them an extra body to hit. And then 5, which is another effect. More damage, same percent. Gives you immune to knock up and knockback. And then 8, it doubles the percent. When released, you get attack equal to 1.5% of max HP. So now you get Gardenia's passive. When you level her up, or it's more than that, it's like a third of Gardenia's passive. But still, for 12 seconds is pretty good. That's like their 30-second cooldowns, takes a second to cast, 12 seconds, effectively half the time. You have this 1.5% max HP, and you're already going to want to build kind of tanky, because she is based on HP. This skill consumes 5%. It consumes more of your current HP, giving you more shield. So I had people ask, oh, it doesn't say the same thing as you go down. These are additional effects to it. She seems pretty good on paper. We will see once we play around with her in-game, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Let me know what you think about her and the event down below. Till next time, guys.